Whether it is working late into the night, grappling with pricing, size, finances, and scale, whether it is quitting stable jobs to take the entrepreneurial leap of faith, whether it's traveling the length and breadth of a foreign land, living, learning, evolving, women entrepreneurs have done it all. There was a lot to learn and share when 4 women from different walks of life decided to sit down for an unhurried tell-it-all. Watch this freewheeling conversation with women entrepreneurs to learn, share, and grow in your own journey.
Hello and a very happy Women's Day to everyone. I am Namrata Singh and I'm a tarot reader, a tarotpreneur, if you will. And with me are 3 other women entrepreneurs who are more than just carving out a niche for themselves in their respective fields. We have Chandan Dubey with us. Chandan is a Mumbai-based restoration artist and photographer. She has been a journalist and art critic in the previous avatars. She creates one of a kind handcrafted garments and artisanal products for the home. Sustainability, renewal, and repurposing are important values at the heart of her work as a designer. We have Nazia Vasi. Nazia Vasi is the founder and CEO of Inchincloser, a Mandarin language institute headquartered in Mumbai. A former business correspondent, Nazia moved to Shanghai, China for 3 years where she picked up the language and culture. Returning back to India, she founded Inchincloser to bridge the trust deficit between Asia's 2 largest neighbors. Inchincloser has taught more than 2,000 Indian professionals Mandarin in the past 14 years. We have with us Nisha Abraham, who is a design professional, an animator, an illustrator, sculptor, who used to make model animation films. Through the years, Nisha has worn many hats, from filmmaker to designing characters for films, promos, producer for a music channel in Mumbai, an educator, a professional voiceover artist, radio jockey, and now she has morphed her love for clay modeling and claymation into a home-based fondant art and confectionery business. We have gathered here to celebrate each other's entrepreneurial journey. Some of us have left stable jobs to begin on this journey, and we all have one mission in common: to create an impact in the areas we operate in and to encourage other women entrepreneurs. Let me begin with you, Chandan. You have been on this journey for a decade now. What's your unique style of working and what was the biggest challenge in this journey?
So I am a restoration artist and I run this small sustainability-based art and design practice in Mumbai. In my studio, we renovate old furniture, manufacture upcycled textiles and products for the home, restore and repurpose antiques, and also manufacture garments. At Studio Photo Plus, I take a slow, handmade, sustainable path to designing things. Memory, nostalgia, heirloom, history are all woven into the fabric of what I do at the studio.
So, I have been doing this tarot reading as a hobby, and I decided to give up a very good career in journalism to taking up tarot professionally. It's a passion that has now become a life's calling. I'm a dreamer and I have conviction in myself. My goal is happiness and to spread this joy to everyone. So I feel very purposeful and driven to take this to another level. Can anyone else tell me about their purpose and how they want to take it up forward?
I mean, I'd like to first start off by telling you the kind of work that I do, because I came to this more as a design professional, because I used to make films and be an animator and be behind the camera, as well as creating these little models, and my film work would be shown all over the place. And then I got married, I had kids, and everything just went. My career was just nowhere, as you have to be at home and all that. So then suddenly I started making cakes for my kids. I started decorating the cakes, and people started noticing it, because I guess attention to detail, and I loved creating those little things on top of the cakes and things like that. And so that's how I began my journey. It went from literally doing this for my children to getting professional orders. And Nazia, what about you? How did you get into this, into what you are doing now?
So basically, I used to be a correspondent with the Times of India, and I used to cover business, which was predominantly IT and telecom. And I used to meet a lot of professionals and CEOs who had set up an office or a factory in China and wanted to replicate the process in India. It was also 2004, 2005 when Bombay wanted to become Shanghai. And we were constantly comparing India's GDP with China's GDP. So it got me very curious to see what was in China, what was China all about, why were we constantly comparing ourselves to China, why did Bombay want to become Shanghai, what was it about this country that we wanted to emulate so much. So I decided to go there myself to check it out firsthand, which is why I trained as an English language teacher and went to Shanghai in 2000. I was one of the only Indians there, but I persevered. I taught English for a year, and then I went to university to learn Mandarin. And then subsequently, I was heading the India division of a tax and legal consultancy in Shanghai. But living in China and working and traveling across the country helped me realize how similar Indians and Chinese actually are. Because of our ancient trade routes, because of our the history that we share between the two countries, there's a lot of similarity in culture, in language, in understanding that we actually don't really talk about. It's what the newspapers and the politicians don't really tell you. And this is what I wanted to come home and tell people, because the similarities were much more to me than the differences. So the differences are in a very short time span, but the similarities that we share are over several millennia. And so that's what I wanted to, and therefore I started Inchincloser in 2009 after coming back, because I wanted it there to be a platform through which Indians and Chinese could understand each other better. So the idea was to create a bridge for people so that they could understand, collaborate, and basically just trust each other better, right? So if you're doing business or you're traveling across China, if you can speak the language, if you can understand what somebody else is saying to you, then it increases that trust between the two people. So that's the basic mission behind Inchincloser, and the vision behind it as well is to eradicate the trust deficit and to make it easier for Indians and Chinese to communicate.
I actually had a question for Namrata. There are several misconceptions about tarot, Namrata, isn't it?
No, absolutely, Chandan. There are so many misconceptions. To begin with, I tell people, don't go to a tarot reader for fortune telling. I mean, nobody can predict a future well, because there are so many variables involved. So tarot can actually show you the roadmap and tell you how you can catch an opportunity that is coming your way, and how you can capitalize on a turning point that is visible, or how you should lie low because a certain disruptive phase could be coming. So these are all energies you need to attract, the good energies, and a tarot reader will kind of tell you how to do that. So I tell everyone, this is something that came to me recently, and I put it out on my LinkedIn also, that I tell everyone I'm a sounding board to your subconscious minds. So like one goes to a dentist, every month or two, or every 6 months, or goes to a gym every week. One should also reflect on what the higher self is telling you through the subconscious mind. The subconscious understands a language of images and symbols. And that's the reason why tarot is a great tool that can, kind of help you keep yourself updated on where you're going wrong, or what directions you need to consider or alter, and how you can manage your day-to-day personal or work life. So the awareness around tarot in India particularly is quite low. People believe one needs to visit a tarot reader only if one has a problem. I mean, of course, if you have a problem, one is here to help. But, tarot should be like a messenger from your higher self, which is here to assist you each day and every month or week. So my vision really is to take tarot, make tarot a part of everybody's daily routine. It's like you pick up the newspapers in the morning to get the news, or you pick up your phone to check what messages or emails you've received. A tarot card a day can bring your attention to what energies you'll encounter during the day and what you need to watch out for. So tarot can be your daily dose of vitamin W, if you will, with W standing for wellness. So I think I see great potential in tarot. I'm trying to debunk these misconceptions through social media. Nazia, do you think we keep talking about women's networks? Do you think that we need more women's networks to help each other?
I do think we need more women's networks. I mean, networking is always good. It's really important for women to network because it really helps us climb the social ladder and as well as the corporate ladder. But being social beings, I think women also like to talk to each other, collaborate. We're really good at coming together and working together as well. And we kind of understand each other as women as well. We understand the pros, the cons, the issues that women have with working in the workspace. So I think it's important to have networks. But I think it's also how you network. So you need to put in the time, the effort, the energy to meet people, follow up with people, have that coffee, have that lunch, dinner, make that presentation together, do something so that the relationship actually moves. For example, I'm a part of 2-3 different women's networks specifically. But sometimes I find it just hard to take the time out to engage with the women that I have met as well. So that's on me. But I always look out for networks because that collaboration is important in my growth.
Great. Chandan, what motivated you to start out as a restoration artist after a long career break?
So, we've been together in media together. So I started as a journalist, and but my heart was always in photography, which I promptly took up soon as I quit an active job as a journalist. And since then, it has been a journey of sorts of educating myself, traveling. I went to school in the interim. I wrote for a New York-based arts magazine. And I was very clear beyond a point of time that I wanted to do something purely for the love of it. Whatever I had to do next had to come purely from the heart. And so, which is where the restoration practice started. However, I can't say that it was as sort of thought out and deliberate as that. I began with fixing a few objects that were lying around the home. And one thing led to the other, and I found that I loved the entire process so much that it became into this studio now. And, one object has informed the other, has funded the other, as it were. And so this is how I get to live my dream life now.
What about challenges that you face operating as a single woman-run studio? Where is your studio, by the way, Chandan? It's in...
It's based in Worli, in Mumbai. So, challenges galore. So to begin with, you don't, as a woman entrepreneur, I felt that firstly, for the longest time, I did not attach that word entrepreneur to my name. Not even in my subconscious for the longest time. It was just playing with one thing or the other and basically not taking yourself seriously, which is a serious pitfall we, women tend to fall into. But once you're working with old objects, definitely is an expensive proposition. So basically finding, a steady stream of work, you need to invest a lot. So that was one to begin with. It's a space intensive, activity. So for the longest time, until my husband threatened to throw me out of the house, I did not find myself a studio. And then when I did, I could actually sort of really, get more serious with what I was doing. So it has been a journey. And I wish there was a little bird advising me at every stage, or, and a sage old man, a Yoda kind of, showing me the paths at various stages. But one has made one's own mistakes and learned one's lessons. And it is definitely better than when I started back then. Yeah.
I've been to your studio, Chandan, and it's beautiful.
Thank you so much, Nisha. It was lovely.
Very lovely space to come to, yeah.
So it's interesting, Chandan, you mentioned these pitfalls, so this is an open question for all. I mean, what are the problems which women face which are unique to women,
For me, there's one thing which is like, is the time when I have to work, because having a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old, and I work from home. I've literally had to carve out a corner of my children's room to work in, because we have a 3-bedroom house and all the rooms are taken. So this whole business sort of started coming together during COVID time, where I had so much time on my hands, and there were people who wanted to send cakes to their loved ones. There were, for 2 years, people couldn't come and even be here for their milestone birthdays. So, like, for example, there was somebody who couldn't be here for his mother's 80th birthday, and he lives in Seattle. So he kind of liaised with me, and we figured out a way, because there was the dunzos which were taking, and the parcels we've been going up and down. That I made a figure of his mother sitting on a cake with a veena in her hand, which is the veena she plays every day, and it was like from her son who's not there to her. And another one was for a grandfather who had never seen his grandchild. His grandchild was born in Singapore, and he never got to see that child. So for his 75th birthday, his daughter who lives in Singapore ordered that cake with her baby sitting on her father's lap. So these kind of things take a lot of time to create these special things, and you can't do it in the middle of the day with somebody asking you how much masala to put of this and how much dal to make, and then somebody wanting the recipe for, how to do this math sum or whatever. So I end up working after 9:30 at night, and I work till 4 in the morning, and so time is a big thing for me. So then there's health issues, because you can't you have to take care of that. I'm a diabetic who makes cakes, so so you have to factor in all these things, and these are the challenges. They may not seem huge for other people, but they are important, and they kind of shape your life as you're going along this journey.
I can totally identify with that, Nisha. Do you think that kind of impacts you in terms of how people think about you or how you perceive yourself? How seriously? Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, well, it takes some time for people to take you seriously, because they just, it's like kind of, oh, so what do you do? Oh, you make cakes. Oh, but you went to NID, right? You were a designer, and we were like, you were making films. Now you're making cakes. So then, so you have to explain yourself, and you have to justify the fact that this is what you are doing. It's an art form, and this is how you are putting yourself out into the world. And it's quite daunting, actually, the first few images I put out of my work and all that. I'm still always unsure, as you know.
I absolutely adore that Usha Uthup cake that you made, the one black sari and the gold, absolutely gorgeous.
So Nisha, what you mentioned about, that you work, sometimes your work starts late in the night and it goes on to till morning, right?
Yeah.
And you enjoy your work. It's not like feeling, oh my God, this is a burden. But, corporate India, when you have professionals, it's a very different story when people are required to come to office. I've been covering this area for so long, and it always boils down to flexibility. It's not just about when I want to work or what I want to do. It's also, I want to do it at my own time. That is a very critical thing. And that empowerment is very important to bring in more women professionals into the workforce.
Correct. Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So
do you have a fixed time when you work, you yourself?
No, so now I'm a tarot reader, right? So I create out my own schedule. It all depends on who wants to come for a reading when. So it's decided based on, so for instance, I have read tarot for people in Australia and the US. So we had to do it as per their schedules also.
Yeah.
Nazia, I was asking you.
Yes.
When you started out that process of setting up your own business, did you come across any biases, because you're a woman, in the sense, were people giving you advice which they wouldn't have given to a man if he was starting out and as an entrepreneur?
So yeah, I think two separate questions. One is, I feel I did get advice that was slightly like curb your enthusiasm. Basically, don't think so big. Do it small, go piecemeal. Because at that time when I started Inchincloser, I was the only one in Bombay who was teaching Mandarin. So it was a very unique idea. It was a very novel idea. It was a very different idea, which I was unsure of in the beginning when I started off about like where I was going or what I was doing. So trying to get that advice was also making me a little unsure about what I should do, where I should go, how big I should grow, what should my dreams and aspirations be for the company. Did I need employees? Did I need some kind of marketing? What were my budgets? There are 20 other things to think about when you start running a company. But yeah, the advice that I got, I don't know whether it's about just being a woman or whether it was specifically because I was in a very niche space. When I started, marketing the course, I had to explain to people what Mandarin was. So that's why I kind of wanted to tie it back into what Chandan was saying as well, is the requirement for mentors. And I think at different stages of entrepreneurship, you need different kinds of mentors. So initially, when you start off, you probably reach out to friends, family, people you think who are other entrepreneurs who have done a similar line of business or can help you in some way, who understand you, understand your personality, and therefore can help you grow. But as you grow through the years and as your company develops as well, I've realized that you need professional mentors as well, and people who can help you out, who can sit you through and actually go through very stringent points and hold you accountable for that, because that's what you need. You also, it's a very difficult niche to be in, because you also need people who understand women and who understand entrepreneurship. So it's not only about understanding your business or your space, but also understanding how uniquely women work and how uniquely women entrepreneurships work. Because like Nisha said, I mean, often we're working late into the night or early into the morning, and this is not usual for most people, right? So you need somebody who understands that, to say that, okay, you're working late into the night. How can you grow your business? What can you do? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? So finding that mentor, I think, is very difficult. At least I have had a massive challenge in finding mentors for myself to grow, to figure out how to expand. And therefore, then I was looking at building networks. We definitely need that advice, because navigating this space is not easy, and it's unique to most of us and to our personalities and to our businesses. So I think that's crucial.
Being women entrepreneurs is one thing, and I'd love to hear Nisha's views on this as well. For me, I guess it is also being the creative personality type that I am, that I felt did not make me very intuitively strong on the finance aspect of things, of running a whole setup of your own, right? There was a lot of energy going towards the creative side of the entire enterprise, but not so much towards the practical details of about what will be successful and what will not work so much. What is easily sort of deliverable in terms of a product that's going to be scalable at the same time. So a lot of it came from the heart, and I wish there was some sort of advice at each stage, which would have kind of helped me sort of find my feet sooner. I can't say that I did not teach myself. You are able to, luckily we are in this wonderful age where, almost so much education is available on the tips of our fingers, right? The internet is this great resource for anybody who wants to learn anything. And I'm sure you reach out to a lot of students using the internet as well, Nazia, yourself, right? So, but yeah, the journey would have been slightly more efficient, for the lack of a better term, for me, I guess. I mean, Nisha can tell me more about, how just being a predominantly creative personality changes things for her, in terms of her decision making.
Yeah, I'm actually always second guessing myself as to whether my work is worth the money that I'm charging for it. Like there is no standard as such to follow, because I know that my work is unique in terms of the kind of detailing that I do and the kind of customization that I do for my cakes. And there isn't anything like that I see amongst, like in Bangalore or wherever. And but I'm always afraid to like charge a premium for. So this is something that I think a lot of us creative people also have, that hesitance, hesitation to charge for what we are worth, because we know how many hours we take. We know how many. I mean, I know how many times I'll make the whole figure and then I'm like, this does not look like the person. I'll smash it at 2 o'clock in the morning and start again. Said the internet is a great teacher. I keep watching, videos of people who have made it, who say that, this is, be confident. And so I'm still trying to learn to be more confident about this.
Actually, Nisha, if you look around and there is nobody doing what you are doing, that itself tells you that you are a standard unto yourself. And that is something, that should basically help you, approach your next project with a little bit more confidence. Yeah. As it were. And that's entirely true of what I have done as well. For example, I once encountered this pile of old clock frames at a street corner in Chor Bazaar. For days, I was, looking at them and toying with them, and I did not know what to do. And suddenly, they started getting converted into pieces of art, and then that product has now become, one of my sort of favorite products that I work with. But yeah, this has to come, I guess, with a lot of questioning yourself and a lot of sort of self-doubt at the same time.
Have you ever doubted yourself, Namrata, and in this field that you're doing?
Oh, no. If I had any doubts, I would not have left a stable job. So I left because my friends, I would do, it was a hobby for me. So I would do these readings for my friends. And they would say, why don't you charge? And I would actually joke with them saying, this is my retirement plan. I never thought I'll quit. But then something kept needling me and telling me, no, you need to do this. You just need to, because when you get feedback from friends that, you please do this more often or whatever, then you feel, okay, maybe something is right somewhere. So Chandan, interesting. But tell me, all of you, what message would you like to give to other women entrepreneurs, maybe budding entrepreneurs also?
If I were to talk to like a slightly younger version of myself who had started with a lot of diffidence in this field, I would be more fearless. Basically, go out there and play, because when you are into something because you love it so much, the work itself becomes like a huge reward, right? So you're sleeping happy no matter what. It is worth it already. So I would definitely be completely fearless. I would not question myself as much. I would definitely also try to evolve my education as an entrepreneur, and trying to understand the finance of things, trying to understand the trends, or try to understand my target audience better. I would have done that far earlier in the game. Not that I really regret anything. No regrets, absolutely. It's always a learning process. Nazia, what is your take on this?
Well, I think one of my biggest learnings has been to just go with your gut. I think we've all kind of entered the market not knowing what the correct price point is going to be, where we're headed, what we're doing financially, whether what we're doing is actually worth it or not. But like you said, at the end of the day, you're sleeping well, right? So just go with your gut. At the end of the day, if what you do, you believe in, and you think what you're doing is good and it's helping people, and you're getting that feedback that it's helping people, it's good, people are appreciating it. And you're moving in the direction that your heart wants to really move in. I think that's all. Because if you really do what you want to do passionately, then it's not really work. Then you're not worrying about how you're doing things, whether it's right or wrong. You're just enjoying the process. Everything evolves. So many things change. The market changes. People change. Everything can change overnight, like we've seen with COVID as well. But you just need to adapt. You need to follow your heart. You need to follow your gut, and then just go with it, because ultimately that's what keeps you going as an entrepreneur as well. right? You need to have that self-motivation. You need to say, I am good. I know what I'm doing. I believe in what I am doing. And nobody else is going to give that self-motivation to you, and nobody can take it away from you. My sole advice is follow your gut and just persevere.
Mine is also quite similar. I mean, I feel sometimes, I mean, it is actually, we are speaking, some of us anyway, are speaking from a place of privilege where we have the backing. Like, you know, it's not like if I don't make a cake today, I won't eat tomorrow. I won't have food to feed my children. So that is a huge advantage that we have. So, you know, so I feel if we have that kind of a like a cushion at least to have a bit of stability, and you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to follow your dreams of creativity or, you know, your passions, then you just need the guts to take those first few steps. I mean, like Chandan said, it's I wish I could have learned some of the things that I'm learning now earlier, when I was like, you know, give away stuff for just nothing at all. The value that you have, that you put on your products, is what people will then see, you know. So you've got to value yourself and value your talent and your time very much. I mean, I believe I have seen so many bakers, you know, young bakers who like this, they just think that it's okay, you know, we'll struggle and we'll just like, it's okay, we'll just charge like, you know, the bare minimum of what the amount of maida and flour that and sugar and whatever we put in, we'll charge just a little bit more than that, and that's enough. But I'm always telling them that do you realize how much of your time and how much of your life you're giving up on the side to do this and to bring joy to people, but you need to get rewards for it also. So don't sell yourself short.
Exactly.
And I also very quickly wanted to touch upon that aspect about scale, right? I mean, I know I've spoken to Nisha about it, and this conscious decision to keep it small, to keep it sustainable, has been very clear for me right from the get-go. To keep since the entire drive behind what I do is sustainability to begin with, is eco-consciousness to begin with, I very consciously keep the projects I'm able to handle at a critical number where I'm able to successfully deliver them and also enjoy the process. So maybe, Nisha, you should shed some light about that aspect, which probably again becomes a bone of contention, because you always keep struggling with this idea about whether you should be doing more or putting yourself out more.
Yeah, no, I was telling you about keeping it small because in my case, I do everything myself, like from the cake to the cleaning of the dishes after the cake, because I don't want any contamination and whatever, and the characters and everything. I do it myself. And I somehow still haven't managed to give it to other people to do, like, you know, to allocate.
That's another hard one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to do it all myself, and which is again something that maybe I need to learn to designate work. But I'm happy currently to keep it small, and I don't want to make it bigger, and I don't want to make it in a mass production kind of thing where I just make, you know, models, like make molds and make models and send them out kind of thing. So that's what gives me, each time I make a cake, it's different, and each time I do a character, it's different, and that's what gives me the pleasure and keeps me going.
That is what puts the art in your baking, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Great. So many takeaways from this conversation we've had. Any other concluding remarks?
Is often as women, we want to do everything ourselves, but letting go and designating and giving other people tasks and jobs and managing that is also challenging. So we need to learn how to do that so that we can grow our businesses, because if we end up doing everything ourselves, there's no way you can grow. And I've learned that in a good way. It's not been a hard way, it's been a good way. It's been a very interesting journey for me. But now I've learned to give certain things like technology. We developed an app, and I've learned to give it to a team to manage. Because there's no way I could have developed an app myself. I mean, I just don't have the expertise.
That is already a seed for more conversations in time to come, I feel. And it was absolutely wonderful sharing experiences and your time and all that you've brought on the table. That gives me at least a lot to chew upon for the next couple of days.
Seriously,
And,
seriously.
So until we meet next time, I think, Namrata, you can make our concluding remarks.
Yeah. So, In Other Words is a book that Jhumpa Lahiri wrote in Italian, a language that she learned from scratch. So Jhumpa writes in that book, and I quote, "Writing in a different language means starting from zero. It comes from a void, and so every sentence seems to have come from nothingness. In learning Italian, I learned again to write." So, Jhumpa's book resonated very well with me. When you begin on an entrepreneurial journey, you kind of begin from a void. And while you set up milestones and goals, it's really the journey that matters, not the destination. So the growth potential, I believe, is infinite for each one of us. Thank you for joining us. And here's wishing everyone success in every endeavor. Thank you.